What is going on, guys? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. I got an awesome list of Bronze Age books that I'm going to share with you guys today. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel yet, please take some time to hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So, guys, about last week or so, I did a top 4 Silver Age books that you can get for under $100. Today, I'm going over 10 Bronze Age keys that you can invest in for under $100. And I keep talking about it on my channel. Bronze Age is extremely key, pun intended, right now in terms of really getting some books that for 2 reasons are going to be a solid long-term investment. One is because there's a lot of speculatory value just based on movie hype and whatnot, but also because this is an era of books that keeps getting older and older. You see a lot of great first appearances in this era, and for that long-term investment, I just think these books are going to continue to go up over time regardless. So with that being said, guys, let's get into the list. So first up, Captain America 217. First appearance of Wendell Vaughn as Marvel Boy slash Marvel Man. He later changes his name to Quasar, and we'll get into that in a second, but this is the book. When you talk about Quasar, this is the book to get. You could definitely get it in a decent high grade for under $100. If you're pushing up to the 9 point somethings, it might be crossing over that $100 mark, but you could still get a really solid decent higher grade for under the $100 mark. If you're looking for a solid mid grade, you're gonna really find this book to be affordable. This book, even though Wendell Vaughn is not Quasar yet, this is the dollar book. This is the money book. Now, CGC and the industry itself, CBCS and all of the grading companies and whatnot, they see this as basically the first appearance of Wendell Vaughn, Marvel Boy, Marvel Man, who later becomes Quasar. And it's the only book that says first appearance in front of Wendell Vaughn's name, whether it's Marvel Boy, Marvel Man, or Quasar. So that's why this book is key, and it's still valuable. And again, I love the Quasar character because I think there's so much room for us to see Quasar show up in the MCU in the near future, with the fact that the MCU is expanding more and more into the cosmic realm. So now, with that being said, Quasar. Many of us know this character as Quasar. He's been Quasar a lot longer than he was Marvel Boy, Marvel Man. I mean, the Marvel Boy, Marvel Man was very, very short, and he's been Quasar for, over 40 years now. So, with that being said, I did want to add that book 2 on the list is Incredible Hulk number 234, and this is the first appearance of Wendell Vaughn as Quasar. But here's the thing, and that's why this isn't really the money book, although it is, catching steam. It has increased in value over the last couple of years, and you can really find this book in high grade for under 100 bucks right now. The thing is, CGC, CBCS, if you get this book graded, it's going to say it doesn't say first appearance whatsoever. It says something around the lines of Marvel Man changes name to Quasar, right? So it says nothing of source of first appearance as Quasar. And I think for a lot of collectors that is kind of important. I don't think we all cling to what industry standards like CGC says, but still I think us collectors really recognize that Captain America as the first appearance to get, regardless of what his name was, right? But still, this is a hot book. It's a little more affordable right now, especially in that higher grade. So both of these books uh, are important to be on this list for sure. All right, guys, next up, I just got this book back from CGC in a 9.0. First appearance of Madam Web, The Amazing Spider-Man number 210. Look, this book has already been getting hot. we have speculation that we might get a Madam Web movie. Now, again, I talk about this all the time. I'm going to state it again. The stages of speculation when it comes to movie hype in the rumor mill, especially with the MCU. Right now, the Madam Web is basically the one of the bottom levels of the rumor mill. Okay, because all we had was Sony announcing the amount of Spider-Man franchise films and certain possible release dates, and then you have bloggers and the websites and so forth saying, "Oh, there's talk that it could be Madam Web and all this stuff." When there is a more official announcement from, say, a true industry insider, say, for instance, Illuminati, Mikey Sutton, then that's where it goes to that next level of speculation and next level of rumor. This book is going to heat up even more if that happens. And then, of course, when you get the actual announcement from the studios or the publishers themselves, whoever's involved, whether it's Sony, you know, that's when the book takes off. Now, a certain theme here for all these books too, and I'm going to say this for this book. Regardless of movie hype, these books are solid books that I definitely feel will increase in value over the long term. But right now, I think it is a good time to pick up this book because if there's any truth to this rumor about Madam Web showing up, I really think this book is going to go through the roof. Now, and here's the thing too. I don't know about a standalone Madam Web film, especially if there's no Spider-Man in it. But if we see Madam Web in the Spider-Man universe with the Spider-Man character, especially Tom Holland's, that's where I feel this character will be absolutely amazing. Just her, what she adds to the mythos of Spider-Man. Oh, so good. And I would really love to see that in live action, especially with Tom Holland Spider Man and Tom Hardy's Venom and so forth. So definitely keep a lookout for this book. You could get this book again in a high grade, probably still for under $100. And again, when you're getting into those high 9 points, you're gonna be crossing over that $100 mark at this point because it has been getting hot. But you still find a decent higher grade for under 100. All right. The next two books are a pair, guys. And this is Conan the Barbarian 23 and 24. Now, this is a really interesting dilemma with these two books. Both of these books are considered to a certain extent to be Red Sonny's first appearances we see here in issue 24. Now, the thing is, CGC recognizes issue 23 as first appearance of Red Sonja. No cameo, nothing like that, right? But then they recognize issue 24 as the first full appearance. And this kind of goes against the industry standard of what, your CGCs and your Overstreets and your CBCSs and everyone in the industry, your Cover Price, your Go Collects, of how they document this trend of cameo versus full. So there's a bit of inconsistency here. But here's the thing. The market demands both of these books almost equally. There's not one that's a money book right now. Both of these books are very similar in terms of value, fair market value on the market. So I really think either of these books are key books to grab. Obviously, you have Red Sonja on the cover on issue 24. It is considered the first full appearance. Personally, if I had the money to invest, I don't have either of these books, but if I had the money to invest, I probably would personally go after the 24. But hey, if you could get 23 at a decent value, why not, right? Both of these books, you're not going to get those high grades for under $100, but you could find a high mid grade to, and probably anywhere from, a 7.0 to a 8.0, you can still find for under $100. And I think for an early Bronze Age book, with an amazing first appearance, solid. Red Sonja is a great character. I have so many Red Sonja books. Um, I think Red Sonja, depending on property rights, can do wonders in live action nowadays, right? Especially with Conan, if you bring that together and you have that kind of a cinematic universe going on, in the 2020s. Super awesome. But again, this isn't even about movie hype at this point. Just two great books to have. All right. So next up on the list, we have a DC book. This isn't just Marvel. Commandy #1, The Last Boy on Earth. Guys, this is just Jack Kirby goodness. Uh, early Bronze Age. Commandy. I don't think Commandy commands enough respect. And what Jack Kirby did for this run in the story that he painted with his visual, and I know to this day, Jack Kirby gets a lot of flack, but with his unique art style. I mean, look at this cover. Look at the detail. And I'm going to refer back to Todd McFarlane talking about how, there came a point in time in comics when he was getting in an industry where they were telling him, to tone it down, that it's so basic and bland. And regardless of what you think of Kirby style, he brought such great detail that made his work pop off the pages. I bring this up not because of movie hype. This is not on this list because of any kind of speculatory value like that. I think over time, this book is going to be one in Jack Kirby's catalog that is going to continue to get recognition as it gets older. Um, very early Bronze Age book too. Beautiful 20 center that I feel if you can get now again, this is a book that when those higher grades, it's going to borderline around the $100 mark when you get in the 9 points. But again, you think about early Bronze Age books, even the lower high grades or the higher mid grades, beautiful book to have. I think this is one that is good for that long term investment for sure. And again, just iconic Jack Kirby goodness. I know they try to bring Commandy back what like 3 or 4 years ago now, and I don't think it really hit as well as it did. But look, I mean, I think if this character is done right, this is a character like I was just talking about, like with Red Sonja and Conan, like and I think Marvel has brought Conan back in a very relevant way, and I think DC can do that with this character too. And hey, we are in a modern age of cinematography where I would love to see a Commandy live action film. So definitely had to give some DC Kirby love here. But moving on. Marvel Spotlight 32. Guys, I talked about this in the past. I actually talked about this a couple months ago in a video where I think I talked about, what was it? Was it two? I said the hot two Marvel, or excuse me, Bronze Age books to get. I think I said for like under $50 at the time, and you could still look if you could find this in a lower mid grade for under $50 still. Absolutely, I would say go for it if it's something that you're into. But for the $100 mark, you can still find this in decent higher mid grades, lower high grade, for under $100. Now it's been picking up steam. We had announcements of Spider Woman showing up somewhere, most likely on Disney Plus. And again, when you talk about the layers of or the layers of the rumor mill of the speculation, uh, this one is at that point where as soon as we get an official announcement, I definitely think this book is going to go through the roof, hands down. I think Spider Woman has been an underutilized character for decades, and I think they can absolutely do her wonders in a live action role within the MCU. So, moving on, Man Called Nova, #1, first appearance of Richard Rider. Nova, this is another one. This one has the chance to be big if the MCU does him right. And this is another one that has just been getting hot. And if you can find this book, again, same grade range. If you can find it in a high grade, or if you can even find it in a lower high grade, mid grade, uh, for under $100, I think right now that is extremely doable. And as soon as we get even a hint of announcement for Nova to show up in the MCU, I think this is one of those books that is going to go almost through the roof. And, take that with a grain of salt. What does through the roof mean for you? To me, through the roof means when you look in it like percentage of increase, terms of what the fair market value is right now, and sort of like an exponential rate of increase. I think this book has a chance to almost exponentially increase, almost, at least for a short term, and then it'll cool off, but then it'll continue to slowly climb. Maybe not, to the extent of like a Miles Morales Ultimate Fallout 4 or what's going on with Kamala Khan right now. But, if you look at if this book is $100 book right now, saying a 9.0, right? And then we get an official announcement. I think this book can triple in value like that with a snap of a finger. But again, that's just my personal opinion. Do not take my word at face value. I am speculating as much as anybody else is on these books right now. So just I can't wait to see this character in the MCU as well. All right, guys, moving on. I had to throw some Galactus in here. Now, we all know that the big Galactus books from the Silver Age are just blowing up. And there's no announcement, there's nothing. It's just like, okay, look, Fantastic Four is coming, right? We know that much. But this is Thor 169, the origin of Galactus. And guys, I found this book. I found this book at a sale. The cover price was $15, and I got it for 60% off. So I got this book for like $6, and and it was in probably 5 to 6.0. Okay, so fine plus, somewhere around there condition. Um, this book right now, if you could get this book for under $100 again, and probably the lower high to high mid grades, in that very fine range, man, because this book has already climbed over the last couple of months. And again, this is one of those books to where if the first appearance, second appearance, and whatnot are uh, unattainable to you as a collector, this is a great investment right here, because this is one of those next best options. So, Galactus, man, I mean, I think it's inevitable that we're going to see him in the MCU within the next 5 years. That's my guess. All right, guys, a couple more on the list. Next one up, we got some X-Men love, and this is X-Men 121, first full appearance of Alpha Flight. Guys, if you could find the 120 for like $25 or under in a high grade, that's a good steal too right now, because that is the cameo of Alpha Flight. But this is the first full appearance. This is the money book. You know, we've had some rumor with Alpha Flight as well. I think, again, Alpha Flight has been an underutilized team. I think the MCU can utilize Alpha Flight in a couple of different ways. And with the X-Men coming over and mutants coming over, obviously we're looking at X-Men books, and this is another one that in a high grade you can absolutely find for under $100 right now. And like I said, different ways that can bring these characters in. Um, Whether it's having them correlate to a MCU Wolverine, or have them correlate to Captain Marvel, kind of how what they're doing with the current Alpha Flight team over the last few years in the comic books. So a lot of interesting things that they can do. And these earlier Uncanny books, I mean, again, for a long-term investment, I think they're going to keep on increasing in value. So, all right, guys, with that being said, I think I saved the best for last here. Oh, and here's some Alpha Flight goodness. Yeah, I think these characters could really do well in live action. But save the best for last. Wolverine, Volume 1, Limited Series, number 1. Okay, really cool story, guys. I was just in my live stream last week talking about, my return on investment for my CGC books. I got this book back in a 9.6. And I was talking about how, look, this book is getting hot. We are expecting Wolverine to show up in the MCU, and mark my word that this book is going in a 9.8, is going to be hitting over that $500 mark real soon. I get a DM from Kingdom Comics on Instagram last night, and he says, "Look at this," and he shows me a screenshot. A 9.8 CGC Wolverine #1 sells for $500. So, Kingdom Comics, thanks for sharing that with me. Foresight there into the fact that this is going to be such a big money book, in my opinion. You have Hulk 181, that is just becoming the Amazing Fantasy 15 of the Bronze Age, right? Um, and you got this iconic character that's not slowing down. We've seen a lot of people going after Hulk 180, getting that first quote unquote cameo, and that book has increased. But then, again, you look at the next best thing, and what, as collectors, what can I afford, or what can I get right now? And that is Wolverine #1. Look, I think fair market value for the 9.6 was somewhere around like 150, maybe a little more than that. This is numbers from a couple weeks ago too, and I'm sure they can possibly increase already. But look, if you can get a high grade in this book for under $100, I would absolutely jump on this. If again, if you're into speculating on books, if you have the money to spend, and if you're a Wolverine fan. And with that being said, guys, I will say, look, I always try to make this clear. Never take what I say at face value, because I don't want anybody coming at me if something doesn't pan out and saying, Journo said to buy this and I spent all this money, and now I'm losing money, or I don't want this book because it's not hot anymore. Look, I do my best to do my due diligence. I don't just speculate on books for, the hell of it, or because I think they're cool. I take the business aspect of it. I analyze the market, and I look at these things, and I take it all, put it all on the table, and say, okay, what are all the benefits involved? What are the pros and the cons, and in the cost benefit analysis of each of these books in terms of looking at these things as investments. But with that said, guys, I always say, look, even if you think a book's getting hot, don't go spend money on it if you have no heart in that book at all, unless you really just enjoy the thrill of the hunt of speculating, kind of like playing the lottery, or sitting down at a blackjack table, right? I mean, unless you're really a gambler, you got to have some kind of love here, for these books. So it's as simple as that, guys. I do feel that a lot of these books are, if not, uh, holding to that short term spec value. These are Bronze Age goodness that over that long term, I definitely see all these books gaining market value. So that's my list all. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was Marvel packed. I had to throw at least one DC in there. Hey, what can I tell you? I am more of a Marvel guy, but at the same time, I just think there's a lot of speculatory value on Marvel books right now, just because of how hot things are with Marvel and the MCU, and so forth. So let me know what you guys thought of my list. Let me know if you guys have any of these books in your collections, what you picked them up as, if you picked them up recently, and if you got some kind of deals. I would love to hear all about your guys' hunts. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And until next time.